Good day everyone and welcome back to BFA501. In this video we are going to use self-checkout as the second case study for our internal control lab activity. Let's open up our document flowchart diagram. So this is the document flowchart diagram which we made in the previous lab session. Actually in this diagram we can find a few pre-built control. The use of barcode, for example, instead of typing the product code or product name manually, is actually a form of control. For fresh product like fruits, for example, which the price is determined by the weight, the system also provides a picture of the product and not only the name of the product. These controls could reduce the risk of human error during the data entry process. Okay, now let's find some other threads. The other threats that might or possible to happen within this self-checkout system is theft. So we can add a new symbols on the diagram to represent threats as we did in the previous video. So in the previous video we learned that we can use this triangle symbol to represent threats. So we're gonna use the same symbol for consistency. This one, and then for consistency purpose I also gonna use the same color, which is orange here, and because this is the first thread, so I'm gonna put number 1. So this is the thread number 1. So basically the theft might happen in this part, the part where customer is supposed to provide the barcode of the product before putting it into the bagging area, but instead the customer will skip this part and put the item straight away into the bagging area without scanning it. So in the previous video we used an Excel spreadsheet document to list all the threads and the controls related to the thread, but actually we can also list the threads and including the control in the same document. So in this case, let me show you. I'm gonna use this rich stack menu. Okay, so I'm gonna make the font bigger for my computer. Okay, I'm gonna use 15 here, and you can adjust as you wish and as it is fit to your screen nicely. So this case I'm gonna say threads/risk. Okay, so this rich stack is a bit tricky. So for example, if I press enter here, it's just exiting the text itself. So in order to have, so I just double clicking it, and in order to make a new line we have to hold the shift button and then press enter. That's how we make a new line. So we're gonna list the first thread, in this case is theft. Okay, and I'm gonna prepare the next one for controls. Okay, I'm gonna use the same size for the font, 15, and in this case I will use to list the controls. Okay, so 1.1 is the first control to handle the first thread. Okay, now we list the thread including its control. For theft there are a couple of controls which could be implemented. The first one is install CCTV and or security mirror. So we can add it as part of the control. Okay, let me add it here. Okay, right, so the first control is install CCTV and or security mirror. I will make it a bit bigger too. Okay, 1.2. Okay, I'm gonna list 1.2. Okay, and Yeah, CCTV and security mirror can be quite helpful, especially CCTV, in order to reviewing whether the theft is occur or not, and security mirror also kind of helpful for the staff to see whether there is a theft or not, or at least it can deter the intention to do those kind of illegal activity. Okay, and then the second control that we might be able to implement in order to deal with this particular control is put a staff around the self-checkout terminal to deter the theft itself. So by putting the staff around the self-checkout terminal, it might deter or prevent the theft. It's not completely eliminate the theft, but it might deter or reduce the possibility of the threat itself. So I'm gonna put it as the second control here. Alright, so we have two controls in order to deal with the threat number one here. Okay, so okay, let's find some other threat or risk regarding this self-checkout case study. Okay. The second possible threat is pricing error. Yes, pricing error is a threat. Why? Because because if pricing error is not properly addressed, it would lead to the decrease in the number of customers. Nobody want to go to the store who never or which never resolve pricing error properly. So yeah, it is a threat. It is a risk or a threat. I will list it as the second threat here. Pricing error. Okay. So the control that could be implemented is by implementing the pricing error resolution feature into the system. So by adding a feature in the self-checkout system which could deal with the resolution of the pricing error. So basically there is a possibility to override the price or to fix the price in the system while pricing error is occur. So in a second I will put the second, hold the shift and then 2.1. It means it's the first control that can be implemented to deal with the second threat. Oh, hang on a second, I forgot something. I forgot to put the threat symbol here. Apologize for that one. I will put the threats. Okay, so it's supposed to be in here. Okay, because pricing error is came from this process, so I will put the threat in this process. And then this one is threat number 2. Right. Okay. And then in a second I will put 2.2. I'm going to prepare the second control that can be applied for dealing with the second threat. So in this case it's like let's say put a staff around the self-checkout terminal to resolve the pricing error issue. Okay, so we will put a staff around the self-checkout, so in order to be able to help the customer dealing with the pricing error issue. Right, so yes, so it looks nice now. Okay, so in the document flowchart diagram we can also draw a separate diagram to explain how the pricing error resolution feature works. Let's draw the diagram. So in this case we will want to make the second control for the second thread more clearer. So we want to describe the process a bit more clearer using the document flowchart diagram. Okay, so let's do it here. So I'm gonna create a new page here. Okay, let's say pricing error resolution. Okay. So in this case, I'm gonna put terminator here. The terminator, I'm gonna put it as a staff, supermarket staff here. I want to make it consistent because previously I'm using gray color for terminator. I'm gonna use the same gray color. Okay, so basically the staff will provide okay, so basically there will be two main process here. Okay, let's start with the process first. The first process before the main process is obviously override price in order to fix the pricing error. Okay, but before being able to do this process, the stuff have to be verified. So the first one, or the previous process before being able to override the price error, is identification of the stuff itself. Identify stuff. Okay, so this one I'm gonna use green color for process just to make it consistent. You can choose any color as you wish, but try to make it consistent. Okay, this one and this one looks pretty nice and pretty neat, right? Okay, identify stuff. The process of stuff identification may have to start with document here. Okay. Okay. Just want to make it neat here. Just want to make it align nicely. Okay, let's say this one is the staff ID, which basically the staff can either input manually, or maybe we want to reduce the possibility of inserting a manual ID. So let's say this one is staff ID barcode. Okay, so the staff basically will scan their ID card. So I'm gonna be consistent. I'm gonna use the same color here. Right. So this is going to be the input for the first process. So identify staff will require the staff ID. Okay, the staff ID is provided by the staff. Okay. Right. Okay. And then in order to verify whether the staff is a valid staff or is not a invalid staff, so this process also require to look up the data from the database or from the staff table. So I'm gonna put a table here. So staff tables. Okay. And then the direction of the arrow is not from this process to the table, because we are not inserting the new data to this table, but from the table to the process, because we want to query the data, we want to fetch the data. We want to fetch the staff data, and we want to find a specific staff information, staff detail based on the staff ID here. And then based on this two information source, we will be able to make a decision to determine whether it is a valid staff or it's an invalid staff. So we'll say valid staff question mark. Okay. nicely, and then yes, the override price process can only be done if it is a valid stuff. If the answer is yes. How about if it's not a valid stuff? If it's not a valid stuff, it will display into the screen. So we can use the display here. Okay. Display unregistered stuff. Okay. Saying, oh, it's error, you cannot continue to the next process because you are not in the system, or you are not registered in the staff table or staff database. So I'm gonna put the arrow over here, double click this one to put no label. Okay, right, and then this one will go back to the stuff. Cool. All right. Okay, now the next process is override the price. So in order to override the price, of course, the staff need to provide with the new price or the proper price. So we're gonna put a new document here. Okay, and then we can say new price. Gonna be consistent here. I will put the red color for the document. As I mentioned before, you can pick any other color as long as you are consistent with your color schema. Right. And I'm gonna use the multi-segment over here. Okay, I think looks good now. And yes, so override the price, and then if it is successful to be override, and then display new price as a result. Price. Okay. Okay, and then this new price will be shown to the customer. Let's say this one is customer, and then they can proceed with the next step or next process, which is dealing with the payment. Right, so I'll make it like this. And then because this process is kind of sensitive, we also have to do logging, or we have to keep record on who is overriding which kind and who is overriding the price and what kind of price then that been override over it. So we have to provide with the event log tables here. Event log tables basically to keep track the record of who is doing what and when. Okay. Right. So if there is a staff name called Eddie, and then Eddie is the one who fixed the price at noon Wednesday the 13th, for example. So Eddie's name and time, and then the action that he had done will be recorded and stored in a table for future analysis. Okay, so yeah, basically pretty much like this. So this is give us more flexibility because we are not only listing the threat or the risk, but also we can be able to list the controls, and further with this document flowchart diagram we can even explain the control a bit more detail. Okay, this is not a perfect diagram yet, but this kind of diagram might be able to give you some kind of idea about like how to utilize this document flowchart diagram in order to make an internal control report or an internal control diagram. So as part of the lab activity, you are also encouraged to find some other possible threats or even a pre-built controls which have been implemented in the system. You can discuss your findings with your mates or with the teaching assistant in the lab. So yeah, you can explore this activity a bit further with your peer and also with your teaching assistant in the lab. And okay guys, this is the end of the video for internal control topics. I hope this video is helpful to build your understanding related to the topic. Thank you and have a good day.